You've probably experienced this before. You're sitting in a park or walking down the street shortly after the sun has set. And then out of nowhere, it appears, the moon. It looks huge and it looks red hanging over the skyline. And for a few minutes, the moon feels like it's part of the urban landscape. That moment, though, always feels fleeting and unpredictable, but it's not. The moon is, in fact, incredibly predictable. You don't have to leave these moments up to chance. With some apps, some websites, and some astronomy basics, we can know when these moments will happen. And I'm going to show you how to seek them out right here in Montreal. This is Moonrise. Before we try to find when these moonrises will happen, you might be wondering why the moon looks so big and red when it first rises above the horizon. First, the size. This is actually just an optical illusion. It's called the moon illusion. And there's a few theories of why it appears big, and one of them is called the relative size hypothesis. When the moon is low in the sky, we can compare it against the horizon, the buildings, the mountains in the distance. But when it's high in the sky, it appears further from those reference points. And so it's a trick of your brain. It just looks smaller. Second, why does the moon appear red when it first rises? When the moon is low, light has to go through more air, more atmosphere to reach your eyes. When light goes through more atmosphere, the colors that make up that light get more scattered. This is called Rayleigh scattering, and in short, only the red parts of light are able to reach your eye. But as the moon gets higher, the light goes through less air. More wavelengths of light, the oranges and the yellows, they're able to reach you. Eventually, the moon gets high enough that all the wavelengths of light get to your eyeballs, and the moon appears its regular white color. So we have this 15-minute window of magic. When the moon is low on the horizon, it looks big due to an optical illusion, and it looks red because of physics. So how do we find these magic 15-minute windows? Next, we have to find what day the full moon is. This is pretty easy to find online, and chances are if you have a calendar around your house, that shows what day it is too. The full moon happens every month. This is because it takes 1 month for the moon to go around the Earth. More on this in a moment. So we now know the day the full moon will happen. Next, we need to find what time it will rise on that day. You can search online for Moonrise and the name of your city. Once you do that, find the day the full moon will happen, and under Moonrise, it'll show the time. Notice something about the time on this day. What else is happening in the sky around this time? The sun is setting. This isn't a coincidence. This happens every full moon. As the sun is setting in the west, on the other end of the sky, in the east, the full moon is rising. This will always be true. Here's the moon going around the Earth. Eventually, it ends up opposite the sun. From our view on Earth, as the Earth rotates through the day, the sun sets as the moon appears to rise on the opposite side. The moon is always half lit from the sun, no matter where it is around the Earth. But when the moon is opposite the sun, from our perspective here on Earth, we're able to see it fully lit up. So now we know what time the moon will rise, but now we need to find out where on the horizon it will first appear. Where the moon rises shifts over the course of a month and over the course of the year. For example, in Montreal in January, the moonrise shifts to the northeast until a full moon, and then after that, it starts to drift southeast. There's a reason for this, the Earth's tilt. If the Earth wasn't tilted, the moon would rise exactly east every single day. But because the Earth is tilted, its moonrise position drifts day by day. On that same site you found the moonrise time, it'll likely show you a number in degrees. This is the direction that the moon will first appear. It's generally in the east, and you can use a compass to find it. Thankfully, many astronomy apps are out there to help you figure this out, where it will rise. This one, it lets you plan exactly where it'll appear and the direction that the moon will travel. But here's something really cool. We can figure out the time and the direction of the moon months and years into the future. And those really special moments, the ones where the moon feels alive with the city, we don't have to leave those up to chance. We can search them out. So let's do that. Let's go into the streets of Montreal to find the precise moments when the moon and the city are fused together. And we can do them in front of some famous Montreal landmarks. I'm here at Jeanne Mance Park, looking east towards downtown. And you can see a small clearing between the buildings, and in the distance is Mont Saint-Grégoire, almost 40 kilometers away. On Friday, July 15, 2022, the moon will rise at 10:36 p.m. And through that narrow canyon of high-rises, the moon will appear red and it'll appear large, rising over Mont Saint-Grégoire. It'll continue moving up and to the right, eventually getting blocked by the downtown buildings, but a few minutes later, it'll appear over the park's gazebo. Let's go and head downtown and find another day where the moon interacts with the skyline. Downtown Montreal, Crescent Street, on August 11, 2022. You can imagine the street bustling on that Thursday night. Around 8 p.m., the sun will have set in the western sky, and as the air starts to cool, standing here, just off Sherbrooke at 9:05 p.m., the moon will appear from behind that building, moving up toward Leonard Cohen's direction. For about 30 minutes, it'll be behind the mural until popping out again a few minutes before 10 p.m. We can also do this for different moon phases, not just for the full moon. Here on the shore of the Rivière des Prairies on August 29, 2022 at 8 p.m. Looking out at the hydroelectric dam, shortly after sunset, the thin crescent moon will set in the west, appearing between the levels of the dam. Since 2013, I've been doing an event on top of Mont Royal showing people the moonrise. And every time I do it, I'm always amazed that it actually all works out. The moon appears at the exact time and the exact location that all the websites and the apps said it would. With something so large like the moon, it always feels like it should be more of a broad estimate instead of pinpoint accuracy. And yet, every time it is, and every time it's beautiful. I often get asked, what's the best spot to see views of the night sky? And people expect me to tell them to go far outside of the city. But I think seeing these brief magical moments when the moon is part of where we live, part of the urban landscape, these are the best views that I've ever seen.